Welcome back to another episode of Aunt and Andrew with Family's Everything.
Until it's not.
Are you ready to go to Beverly Hills? But not real. Well, I guess
Beverly
they did. Andy comes
Hills.
out for this reunion. I think he
Yeah.
does the West Coast, except Salt Lake. He was
Salt
too
Lake
established by
and
then.
any of the smaller shows, you have to go to Andy.
Oh, yes, of
Yeah,
course. No,
but
I
he
want to know
goes
if
to
it's
Beverly.
smaller, though. I think it's more precedent. Salt Lake City started too late in the game that their first reunion was in New York. Beverly Hills and OC, their reunions have always been on the West Coast. That I think the unified front of cast members are like, oh, no, 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 you come to us. Whereas Salt Lake, they had no choice. It's probably part of their contract.
Salt Lake's filming right now.
I know we talked about that last week.
Yeah, but they went to a drag breakfast or lunch or whatever. And of course, the drag, they're all doing Heather.
Oh, yeah.
Receipts,
I saw,
timeline. I
yeah.
love that. I love that the drag queens are all doing now in the Heather mode.
And then at the end, doesn't the drag
Receipts.
queen go into like a big split?
I don't know what I saw. I just saw the drag queen in yellow going receipts, timelines,
Oh, yeah.
screenshots. I love it.
I think drag queens should impersonate the housewives. There's a lot of like
there's
overlaps.
Well,
I actually think that there could be a whole type of drag art that's just about the housewives.
Yeah,
like,
there could be. You're right.
Because it's actually the definition of drag. It's supposed to be like over the top makeup, costume attire. That's why I always say drag queens are so different than anything else that's like debated, because it's truly like going out for Halloween.
Oh, you know what though? This will be the second season that Salt Lake was obsessed with drag queens, because they went to Trixie's motel too.
Oh, I know, because I think that it's something where like there's a lot of overlap between the housewives and drag queens. They all get glammed up.
Yeah, but nobody else is going to drag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying they're doing it because of the religious aspect, I think. You know, because it is the most.
Oh, maybe because Whitney and Heather are like wanting to do
the Mormon thing. Nobody else really has that Mormon thread. And then you got Mary Cosby and the whole bit. Anyways, let's talk about Beverly Hills today.
Yeah.
The reunion. Dorit, I still want to move her hair. It's annoying.
I want to move her off the couch.
I want to tell you something else. For whatever reason, I was fine with Erica's look the first week. This week, it's annoying me. The shoulders pointing up and her weird hair annoys me this week. I just want to say that. And it's funny because the first week I felt one way about the way people were dressed. And now this week, I think it's Kyle's dressed the best. It's like every week. I don't know what it is about the reunion. Maybe it's because she had green on. I don't know.
What do you think? My opinion changed about Kyle and Mauricio this week. I think sometimes we forget, and I think it starts with the women on the couches, and then it trickles down to that they are like both like insanely successful, have big teams, and they also work a lot. Like they're not sitting at home. So when I think Kyle
some of them work more than others a lot.
So when Kyle is like, when they're like, well, you said that you had the most challenging year at the retreat. You didn't say this, this, and this. And Kyle's like, I was just really finding out and realizing it. Right. Because remember, when they film,
and remember that they have two shows. They have their Netflix show.
But remember something. When they film, they kind of have to be home.
Yes.
Now, when Kyle does Halloween stuff, or she's filming a movie, or she's doing this or that, she might be gone for a month and a half. Now, that doesn't mean she doesn't see her family for that long, but she's not consistently home.
Right.
And so I think that I just find it inappropriate. And Kyle said it great when Kyle was like, what do you mean I don't show my life? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I agree. No,
and when she said that, I was like, and for all people, Sutton, it's very true. Now, I don't blame Sutton. Listen, she set boundaries with her ex when she came on the show. So she's done nothing wrong.
I understand
but she doesn't show it.
Not only that, nobody can accuse Kyle of that. Season 1, her and her sister in the limo. I mean, that's about as raw as you can get. You stole my house. I mean, she's had arguments with Kathy. She's had a very public divorce. She's had a lot. She's shown everything on her life. No, I don't have she hasn't shown everything, because nobody is entitled to see everything of your life. I disagree with people who think you're a public person. We have a right to know. I disagree with that. You have a right to show the public what you want the public to see. The public does not have a right. You have
There's
a
a
right
difference
to
between withholding information and
and not
lying.
sharing. Well, that's true too.
No, what I'm saying is not sharing is withholding, and that's okay. But if you're going to go on and be like, I have the best marriage, and you're going through what Kyle's going through, I don't think that's okay. But if you're like, it's been challenging and that's where you want to leave it, I think that's totally fine.
I just agree that just because there's this belief out there that like this week, one of the sister wives' kids committed suicide,
Okay.
and people seem to think that they're entitled
To know
to
why and
know
how.
everything about that suicide because they watched that kid grow up. We'll never know whatever, because he's gone now, why that young man, 25, took his own life.
Don't you think being real is just saying my son committed suicide and that's
That's
it?
enough. That's enough. We don't
Thank
need
you.
to know more. We don't need to know more.
I even think what Olivia did on Southern Charm by just saying my brother passed away unexpectedly is
Enough.
enough.
You don't need to know more. That's just what I'm getting to. Just because you're on a reality show does not mean that the public is entitled to know everything about your life. They just aren't. That, and I mean, we
don't
talk
think
about
Sutton,
them.
I don't think Sutton needs to bring her husband on, but I think Sutton shouldn't say, "Oh, I have a good relationship." No,
Yeah,
you're divorced.
no,
You thought that you told that you are divorced. He just chooses not to be on the show. I think that's totally fine. So I think that what Kyle is saying is you never heard Kyle say to Sutton, share more about your life until Sutton said, you're not being real about your life.
right. I
And
get
I
it.
think that like that's the part for me that when Kyle says like, yeah, all you have is a horse and this and that, it's because of the fact that like don't poke the bear because the bear is being real. The bear just isn't being gonna drag themselves through the mud like you want them to. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like, but I agree with you there. And I think everyone has their own choice as to how much they
Mm-hmm.
want to share. I think what is real is being just not trying to create a fictitious reality, but I do think it's okay to withhold.
And I'm going to say this, there are some life events that are shared on TV that are
Mhm.
far more difficult for some of these women than others. Okay.
Totally.
It is one thing to be Ramona Singer or the goddess Luann de Lesseps and get a divorce. It's another thing to get a divorce and become a lesbian and have a lesbian relationship. That's a whole different thing if that's what's happening with Kyle. Okay. It's a whole different thing to be Teresa, who you're visiting today, but she's not there. You can keep on knocking. She's not going to answer the door. And have not only do you go away, but your husband goes away and then he's deported. Those are different than just Ramona and Mario getting a divorce. They're
Ramona
different.
wouldn't even say that her and Mario were going through a tough time on that reunion. She just would say, no, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Got off the couch.
Right. Okay.
That is fake.
That's
If
fake.
Ramona
Yeah.
had said in that moment,
Yeah.
she goes, things are fine, yada, yada. No,
Yeah.
if Ramona had said, Mario and I are going through a very tough time, there's
Mm-hmm.
been a lot of things that have happened. I don't
Yeah.
want to talk about it yet. There will come a day when I want to, maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know. But we are going through tough time. And I think for Avery's sake, we just need everyone to keep us all in their thoughts and
And there have
prayers.
been housewives like Adrienne Maloof that when her and Paul broke up, she left the show. So she didn't have to deal with it. And then
Yeah.
she's come on a few times. Kelsey Grammer and Camille, that was a very public thing. He's already got another woman pregnant. That's a whole different thing. Joe Giudice getting sent to Italy, but now he's in the Bahamas all the time. That's a whole other thing. There's different varying degrees. Bruce Jenner and Chris didn't just get divorced. He became Caitlyn. I mean, that's a whole different level of
Reality.
that's a whole different
Well,
divorce.
that's
That's a whole
another
different
big part.
divorce.
Yeah.
It's not like just a simple divorce like Countess Luann and the Count. They got divorced. Okay, end of story. They broke up. Bethany and Jason, that's a big divorce. I mean, because of how he raked her through the coals with restraining orders, this, that. So there are varying degrees. Kyle is not just getting a divorce. She's got more than a divorce.
I have to say at the same time, I think that Kyle and again, as we've talked about, you could be right that she's going to end up with Morgan. She's not. I personally think that even if Kyle is interested in Morgan, Kyle has said to Morgan, if it's real, if they do have a emotional relationship, whatever,
Right.
I'm not diving into that until this relationship is settled.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't
mean,
think that that is being fake.
but I
I
do
think that
think
is saying that she doesn't want to start something else until this is finished. And I think we also have to remember, unlike unlike even unlike the Countess and the Count, Kyle and Mauricio have made a shit ton of money together since they've been married. It's not like one of them had a fortune and it's an easy divorce. This is a divorce
agreed.
where they've made money collectively. That's where they've
Agreed.
developed their wealth.
You
It's
want to know
also
who had a
intense.
very long divorce, like a decade?
Who?
Maria Shriver and Arnold Schwarzenegger
Mhm.
were getting a divorce for like 10 years. Why? Because they had, and what people don't realize is Arnold's got even way more money than Maria has ever
Of
had.
course.
Okay. And they had a lot of real estate, they had a lot of cash, they made a lot of money, and there was a lot of things to be divided. Even though both have more money than they'll ever need in their lifetime,
Of
it was
course.
still a lot of stuff to actually legally separate from each
You have to
other.
remember, Kyle probably had more money when they got married than Mauricio did.
Yeah, but now he's got way more. But it doesn't matter.
No, they have way more.
Yeah, but it doesn't go like that. In California, first of all, it's a 50-50 state.
That's
So
what I'm
that's
saying.
instant. It doesn't matter who had more now or then. It's
But if they had a
50-50.
prenup, the money that she
I don't
had,
think they have a prenup.
they didn't. But what I'm
No,
trying to say is that if they did, people have to
but they
remember
don't.
it
So don't
wouldn't have
talk
been
about it.
Mauricio holding money. It would have been Kyle would have been able to save more money, truthfully, because she had money before from acting.
Right. But this is how most prenups work. I don't know if you know or not.
Yeah.
Is that you both keep your money going into the
Yeah, of
relationship.
course.
But the money you make in the
In the
relationship is
relationship, it's
50-50.
split. Yeah,
Right.
of course.
Okay. And so it wouldn't matter who had
It
more
doesn't really
because
matter. Well, it would have mattered probably only for Kyle and it would probably be what, maybe $500,000. Let's be honest here. Not like she had a
it's not a
couple
lot.
million.
Right, right. That's what I'm saying. Mauricio's made way more money than Kyle has
Yeah,
ever
but it's
made.
50-50. It doesn't matter.
Now it's 50-50. And they may, you know what? Erica Girardi is not divorced.
And that's the other thing. Kyle and Mauricio may choose not to get divorced because they may not want that.
I know several people again who are separated in name. They are separated.
Yes.
But they're still married and they live separate lives.
And they're never going to get remarried. They just have long-term partners and then they don't have to worry about things.
They never get divorced.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
because
so
they've
they
got
don't
too much enmeshed with
they don't
real
want to
estate
get
and
remarried, so
everything.
they don't have to get divorced.
No, they just want to live their own life, but they don't want to
Exactly.
pay lawyers a ton of money. And what they've got going is fine. And I know people, one lives upstairs, one lives downstairs. They live their separate lives.
I mean, you know, people
married.
are in bunk beds, so that's just the way it is.
I do. Erica is not divorced, nor is there any talk of Erica getting divorced.
No.
Now, Erica Girardi is not divorced. And you want to know why? Because you can't divorce a man with Alzheimer's. And that gets to, I don't understand that whole situation.
Erica needs to worry about Marco.
Who's Marco?
The designer that's coming after her that she said that
Oh.
almost $1 million in charges that the designer charged her, that there was fraudulent, but yet they have a whole case that she wore the
Oh, I
outfits.
don't know about that.
Oh, yeah, that's the
Oh.
whole thing about The Housewife and the Hustler Part 2.
I didn't watch it.
You need to.
Oh, was it good?
Oh, yeah, he
I
sued
didn't
her.
watch The
But I
Housewife
think
and the
she's just
Hustler
gonna
Part
claim.
1.
I think she's just gonna claim that Tom made her do it.
Did you blame it on the blonde or whatever at that show? What was
Bet
it
on
called?
Blonde. I didn't
Bet
watch it,
on
but
the
it got
Blonde.
great ratings.
Oh, did it? I watched
500,
some of it,
like
but Mikey
600,000.
kind of bothers me after a while. So
It
I
got better
turned it off.
readings than Teresa Chickson.
Oh, yeah, it was a different time though.
I mean, I think it's just
It's a different
strategic.
time. I mean, Teresa going to jail now, I believe, would be a bigger story than it was 10 years ago.
I think a lot of people just wanted to know what the lead up was before the tickets were $3.50. That's what I think people wanted to watch.
I thought it was great that Dorit goes to Marshall's. I can't picture Dorit and Marshall's. Can you?
I have a feeling that the Marshalls in Beverly Hills is probably a little different than the one near us.
Do you think there is a Marshall's in Beverly Hills?
Yeah, of course.
You think so?
maybe not in Beverly Hills, but the town over, like, I don't know, like Brentwood, something
Nearby
like that. Yeah.
Brentwood or something near where
Yeah.
OJ.
There's strip malls all over
So
California.
PK sober. It's all the rage.
He's sober probably because he's been out having lunch with Shannon Bedore.
No, it wasn't Shannon. It's somebody else. They got it looks like her from the back, but it wasn't. It's somebody else from the front.
What a rumor.
It's what rumors and the nastiness. And they say they're better than ever. But it was their anniversary this week. And he put on Instagram. You can check us out on Instagram at Aunt and Annie, Aunt and Andrew. Aunt and Andrew, you can check us out on Instagram. And I have reposted a great video that he did for Dorit. It's
What
you
did he
should
say?
everybody.
Pretty woman.
No,
walking down the street.
I don't remember the song, but the pictures were great. I looked at them 3 times just so I could see how much Dorit's face had changed.
Well, PK, I'm happy for you, buddy.
Yeah,
he needed to stop drinking. He was blowing up
well,
like a
you know, I
balloon.
went to see George is sober, and George has been sober since 2008. So maybe George is a good influence on him.
Boy George. Yes, we're talking
Yeah,
about
boy George. Well,
not
George.
James Kennedy's dead godfather, George Michael.
No, not to be confused with either. But being sober is all the rage. And I will say this, even though it was Lent, they will forever and ever and ever. I think Erica, as we get to the end of the season, has made great strides. But there's always a little bit of nasty in her.
I don't know if
Deep
it's
down,
nasty or if it's just she's a little bit of a see you next Tuesday with a Y.
yeah,
Like the way that the gays use it.
yeah. Maybe
Not
that's
like the
it.
way that the word's meant to be used, the way that like people use it as like kind of having an attitude. You know what I'm talking about? I've
And I
explained
want
this
to
to you.
say this because this is important. A lot of people are at Erica because she just said she signed things. Teresa said she just signed things. Kyle says she just signs things. Let me tell you.
Do you just sign things?
Yeah, all the time.
My mom too. She tells me that.
Okay, but here's the thing. If somebody like Tom Girardi, in this big law firm.
Of course.
He had dozens of lawyers working for him.
Of course.
Cases,
it's the last
money
person.
coming in and out. He doesn't, it's not like you work for the electric company and your husband's bringing home, the same paycheck every week. That's different. If your husband works for someone and you have a regular paycheck coming in, or in that you have the same money every week, that's one thing. If you happen to have a relationship where you own a company, you own a business, and there's different money coming in all the time, and you're paying people and you've got this and that, you don't know all the money that's circulating because there's all kinds of money circulating in here. So for people to be to Erica, oh, do you signed? Like so down on her. In that situation, you don't.
And also, I have to say, I don't think they've asked her this on camera yet. Did you think that anything was up with the fact that Tom had so much money to put places? Like, did you think like maybe he was like embezzling money?
Wasn't her thing.
No. But no one has said to her, did you think separate from the law firm that maybe Tom was getting money in some capacity? Because they just say, did you know what he was doing? And what I'm trying to say is that I don't think she knew he was taking money from victims.
Husbands don't know what their wives doing.
Wait. You're missing what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is that she may have thought like, oh yeah, we have a lot of money and I don't know how a law firm can make that kind of money. But I don't think that she would ever think that he was taking money from victims at the law firm. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I agree. I understand that. But I want to tell you, I know a few lawyers. I know more than a few, but I know some uber crazy, successful
people that put $100 million in an account for their wife's performing arts team.
Was it 100 million?
Yeah, wasn't it 100 million? Yeah.
I don't know what the figure
for
is.
The private jets, all that's like it was
okay. That's
or a million.
crazy.
Was it a million? I don't know. $800,000. Sorry, not 100 million. But
that's almost $1 billion, Andrew.
Yeah,
it can't be that
but
much.
$800,000 or whatever it was, almost $1 million for their wife's performances.
But no, you need to get the figure right.
It's almost $1 million.
Well, $1 million you mean 800,000? Because you said 800 million.
I didn't mean the 800 million. I've already corrected that. Why are you hanging on it?
Oh, okay. No. I want to check. So 800,000, $1 million. Okay. Well, that's not that much. Not for that. I know people who are big lawyers who do what do they call them? Class action suits where they make 30, 40 million.
20 million. Sorry, 20
okay,
million.
20 million.
That's
okay.
a lot.
That's
Transferred from his law firm to Jane's company, EJ Global. So it's like, my question is this, okay?
No, but I just want to say I know people who are really successful lawyers that they have firms that they own in New York and in LA. They have a private jet that takes them back and forth. They make 30, 40 million on class action suits. And you do that for 40 years, like Tom Girardi, you're going to have a lot of money. All right. So
I just don't know any businessman that's doing something by the book that says, I mean, because we want to talk about the name of the show, Bet It on Blonde. He bet 20 million on that blonde,
he
huh?
did.
He didn't. He wanted to move 20 million away from his firm so that he thinking it would be then blown and it would go away and people would be like, what? Because he never thought this was going to happen. And,
no,
and
it
is what
he
it
was
is.
doing, Tom was doing a lot of shady stuff.
Yeah, but I just don't. And I think Erica might have thought, maybe he's not the most by the book, but I don't think she ever thought he would be taking the money from the victims he was representing. Maybe in other ways, but not that.
I think that she thought maybe he was undermining his employees, taking a bigger cut of because when you own the firm like that, they work for you.
Bribing people, like.
It's kind of like with Mauricio. He's got the agency and he sells some houses, but most of his money is coming from everybody selling houses underneath him.
Of course.
It's almost like a multi-level marketing system when you think about it.
Well, it's called a brokerage, but at the same time, yes.
I get that. But, there is a level to that.
Ryan Serhant has that too.
Yeah, they all do. That's how work.
My girlfriend, Ariel from college, and her husband just opened up Serhant, West Palm Beach.
That is fantastic. And
under Ryan Serhant's brokerage.
Right. But this is how brokerage accounts and law firms aren't much different.
No,
you could work for a law firm and you're getting a cut of the
bigger
pie.
the bigger ones, obviously.
Yeah, of course. I'm
that
just saying
offices
that
all
people
over the country
coming down on Erica that like she should have known. It's impossible when your husband owns a huge law firm to have any idea.
How about this? Your husband was portrayed in Erin Brockovich. I wouldn't ask a question for the rest of my life.
Of course not.
The case was about helping people.
That wasn't the only series.
Like,
he was also
this whole thing.
But that wasn't the only one. He was also based on LA Law, which was a TV show.
Yeah.
So I mean,
why would she ever think that he was up to no good? Hollywood wanted to create stories around him.
Yeah, and they were dealing with him. And she was a young girl. She was naive. She learned on the job, so to speak. And there was something about her that I almost felt sad because I think that even though her and Tom had, very much a Svengali type of relationship and a little bit of a Lolita relationship and all kinds of,
Yeah.
We seen them together a few times and he told her to shut up basically.
Oh, he was mean to her.
Yeah. And
in front of Vanderpump and Ken, I remember at dinner.
Yeah.
Stop it, Erica. Stop it, Erica.
Yeah. And she knew her place if she wanted to maintain. And I think she's more conflicted than we think. I think now that Tom's out of the picture, she's trying to make it out like, I am strong. But I think she was a beaten woman for not physically beaten,
emotionally,
but emotionally put down for a long time. 20 years.
I also think that we have to look back and understand that Erica wasn't buying houses and yachts. Erica was buying nice clothes. And even when you're buying a $25,000 Birkin or a $50,000 Birkin compared to another $20 million property, Erica has an incredible wardrobe, like diamonds, all that. But it's not like she was literally every single thing she owned was like 5 figures. Designer stuff, even at the highest level, is not like there's people that make $1 million a year and are head to toe designers. You don't have to be making 100 million. That's the part for me with Tom Girardi that I'm always like, was it not enough? Because if he had done it by the books, they still would have had an incredible life.
Absolutely. But that's what happens to people. They get a little greedy. Tell me, do you have a problem with I just want to say one thing too about Crystal and Alzheimer's and whether Tom Girardi has it or doesn't, is that Alzheimer's presents itself different in every single person. I just want to say that. It's not a one size fits all disease. It depends so much on what part of your brain it affects.
Totally.
And I get Crystal. I understand. And there's also a lot of people who confuse dementia and Alzheimer's, and they're two different
Totally.
different types of dementia. And so it gets complicated with these people when they start talking about medical conditions, esophaguses, this, that, the other thing. Everybody is different.
But talk about narcissists as the buzzword. Tom Girardi, right?
Yeah, I
He
agree.
didn't go and get, like, this is the other thing we have to remember with Erica is that, like, the shit hit the fan. She found out all this stuff was happening. I think the light bulb went off in her head is that I'm not going to be emotionally abused anymore, especially when you're broke and you're about to be arrested. I want a divorce. And then it was like, oh my God, he also, like, because we have to remember, Tom, if he's emotionally abusing our Erica for all these years, do you think that she felt comfortable being like, Tom, are you having some trouble remembering things?
No.
Never. So
No.
she probably had to walk on eggshells. He probably tried to hide it from her as much as humanly possible and everyone else because he never wanted to look like he was forgetting things. So I bet like his brother, who's the one that seems to be the one that's like in charge of all of his business affairs.
Yes, his brother is in
maybe
charge.
knew.
It's
And
his
so when people say Erica should have known, I'm kind of like,
conservator.
Did you watch,
He's a conservator.
as Denise would say, watch the show. Watch the show.
Yeah, watch the show.
I've watched the show. You've watched the show. We've all watched the show. Tom Girardi has never been a partner to Erica Jane.
Never.
No.
They were never partners.
So like, so watch the show. It shouldn't be that hard to know that Erica doesn't know why.
Yes.
Or didn't know that this was happening.
And I would say Kyle and Mauricio are partners or were.
Yeah, they are. That's why it's hard to.
And she still didn't know she still doesn't know what's going on and signs things, is what I'm saying. In terms of signing
nothing bad
things.
going on.
And I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
But Erica, what I'm trying to say is Erica would sign things and not ask questions. I bet Kyle has asked questions before.
No, she said she just signs.
Mauricio probably tells her what it's for. Like they probably don't. What I'm trying to say is that I think like it's not like.
I'm going to tell you, Mauricio and Kyle were a partnership. He put things in front of her. She signed them. Listen,
yeah, I get it, but
I'm
going to
tell you something. This is
hiding parts of his life. He probably wasn't controlling like
we don't know. We might find out. We might find out he was.
Maybe, but we don't know that yet. So we can't.
But I want to tell you something else. If you're in a long-term relationship with someone and they tell you to sign something, you sign it because you have that basic trust. And once that is broken, like with Teresa and Joe, I could see where that would be the problem. He put something in front of her and she signed it. And then she went to jail. And then she went to jail. And that's different than a lot of people get into. Now, it is affecting Erica and Tom because nobody's gone to jail, but there's all kinds of appropriation of funds.
I think that the Marco case that's about to come out is going to be similar to the Giudice one, where like Erica's going to have to say, I mean, I don't know. The whole thing is just a cluster. Who's your mess?
Oh, of the reunion?
Yeah, of course.
There's a little something messy about Kathy Hilton coming in with more eye patches. Got to get those damn eye patches.
Oh, she was my mess. What she said about Kyle and Mauricio having problems for 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's a little messy. I think that's nasty, to tell you the truth.
Well, I think that she saved herself by going, I probably shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, but that's so manipulative.
Kind of.
So manipulative.
Well, let's see how much Kyle's
And then she's going to walk out. I will say this. I do think that Kyle gets people to do her dirty work in a lot of ways. I do. I do. I think Kyle, for how many seasons of Beverly Hills, 14 or whatever, she's come out never really having a bad season. She's kind of been able to maintain a straight arrow in far as this world goes. She shades Lisa Vanderpump way too much. She needs to get over that. That's showing her own insecurities when she does that. She should be like, yeah, I'm still on this show. Like, don't keep on bringing up Lisa Vanderpump. She has her show. You have your show. Figure out how to coexist. It's childish. Does Lisa ever bring up Kyle?
Yes, all the time.
She does. Oh, she does. Okay, so they're shading each other. All right.
I think so. I think the question, drop it in the comments if you got the answer.
Yeah.
How much did they pay Kathy Hilton to film the reunion? Tell us what you think. Put it in the comments below and we'll share what
Do
we
you
think. We'll share
next
what we
week.
think next week on part 3 recap. Bye, guys.
Follow us on social media.
Bye.